Hail and welcome to the Black Tower. Our monosoul here. I'm having my coffee. And today I just wanted to have just a regular, just sit down convo with coffee in my Lion King cup. Maybe that'll make the thumbnail when you go and looking at this video to show my beautiful sexiness beside my even sexier coffee cup that my baby sister gave me. I don't know how she found a Lion King coffee cup that was black with a gold line, but that is the coolest thing ever. And I love drinking my coffee out of this one, especially since my go-to original one broke, which really sucks. Because if you're a coffee drinker, you got a particular coffee cup that you really love. But that's neither here nor there. It's raining outside. It's kind of cold down in the 40s. Rain, wind. And I was sitting here, and normally, I have my wife here. Normally. And so, when I get in these contemplative, thoughtful moods, she's usually here to listen to me and go, right, babe, right. I don't know where you come up with this shit. And then she goes about her way. But she had an appointment this morning, so I get to talk to y'all. Y'all get to hear me instead of her. All right, today, well, let's go with this. I woke up. It was raining and stuff, and I was stepping outside for a cigarette and all that. Because I don't smoke in my house. I'm just, no thanks. I'm good. No sense in giving my wife's breathing more hell. But anyway, I was sitting here and I was thinking about it. And it usually happens with weather. In the most ancient of days, way the fuck back when, mankind's first thoughts or opinions or belief systems veered around the weather. Well, there's something primal in that, and the most primal is rain. Now, for me to be a Leo, and all about the sun and the heart and shining and all this other shit, I sure am into some pretty dark shit. I really am. Everything from my belief system to my magical practice to what have you. And you might say, yeah, but it seems so upbeat and so, yeah, because I put the light there. And speaking of which, that's big, and this will tie in with what I'm trying to say about the rain. Anyway, so the rain, to me, makes me contemplative. It calms me, settles me, and it puts me in a deeper mindset without having to try, even work at it. It's just natural. Doesn't make me depressed or sad or anything like that. No, it just lowers my thought patterns. It puts me down into the subconscious, into the things I normally don't think about. I start to think about it, or they rise to the surface. Well, anyway, with that in mind, in my own practice, I work really well with water. Like, for example, some people, they scry with, like, mirrors and stones and all this other stuff. Not me. I got a solid black plate that is, it's like a deep plate. And I put water in it. That's what I use for scrying, and that's what I use for communicating with spirits, which is kind of weird. But it's my thing. It's what I do. On a day like today, I'm contemplative. I'm thoughtful of my ancestors, of those who've come before me. Hell, and they don't even have to really be my blood, or per se blood. I guess we're all kin one way or another. But it makes me think of the ancient peoples, their practices, the whys, the hows, so forth and so on. Well, this morning, yeah, I do that too. My mind went there. But today of all days, the first thing I got to remember is my father. Now, my father was country as shit. I mean, I have never seen anybody as country as him, and I'm not talking about a redneck country. No. Oh, God's no. God's no. This guy he was country, let me tell you. Country, good old boy, and that was him. Wasn't necessarily racist or anything like that. Not, because there's a lot of negative connotation that comes with country and so forth and so on. Not my dad. Oh, hell no. He was born in the 50s, and he came up poor as dirt. He's broke bread at many of people's table, and many of people's kids broke bread at their table with his family. Back then it was poor. He came from a family of 13. Can you imagine that? And then I sit and I think about my baby sister. She has 9 kids. 9 kids. Who the hell in this day and age has 9 kids? I mean, can you imagine the food bill, the power bill, the clothing, the education? Oh my goodness. And that says a lot. You know, should she have been more careful, more thoughtful? Well, hell yeah. Could she keep up with that many kids? Not too well. But she did. But that's neither here nor there. But the reason why I bring her up is because she wanted to be like her grandmother, who had 13 kids. Now, I honestly, maybe it's because I'm a male, I don't know. I can't really understand the concept of wanting to be like somebody who had that many kids. I just can't see it. Even from a male's point of view, I can't see being the father of 9, let alone 13 kids. So she did, and kudos to her. Hoorah. Thanks for the cup, sis. But back to my point about memory of family and ancestry and what have you. So my dad was pretty country or whatever. Oh, he didn't even have a 3rd grade education, but I tell you what, he could read Playboy magazine. I'm not even joking. I wish I was. I used to think it was just the photos, but no. The old man taught himself how to read so he could read 2 things, Playboy and the Bible. I hope that makes you laugh, because I swear when I was coming up and learning this, I was just like, Dad, really? Seriously? You can't even hardly sign your name, but you can read Playboy. And I had to get him to read it to me. And, of course, he sounded like a 1st grader, stumbling through words, but he could do it. But there was something he could read better than that. He could read the Bible. Now, that's weird as shit. Now, the reason why I bring up all this, and not the Playboy part, the Bible part, I know what you're thinking. Tell me more about that. Oh, I'd love to. I got tons of stories about my dad, how weird he was. But anyway, so the old man, when he went to bed, he would read his Bible. And he always told me, he's like, son, if you ever have anything that's bothering you and you don't have the answer to, sleep on it. Pray and ask God. He'll tell you what to do. What? God ain't never answered me, Dad. Daddy, are you sure? Me and him have had fights over this because, seriously, he was raised up, his whole family was into the Bible and all this other stuff. But he had a habit of, he would go to bed and he would literally inside his head, put it in his head that when he woke up, he would have the answer to his problems. And sure enough, when he woke up, the man would know exactly what to do and how to do it. And sure, oh my goodness, he could fix problems. Now, my dad was a weird like that. But you got to understand something, though, about that. In my family, the males were magical. Well, now, mind you, they were mostly male anyway. It was a predominantly male family. And I'm not becoming sexist about that, but it was just truth. Even the females, they weren't so spiritual. They just weren't. They were just, salt of the earth people. But the males, oh my goodness, they believed in an invisible power. And I'm not talking about God. They called it God. But if you ever sat down and talked to them, the way they talked about it, really strange. It was like, they would give God the credit for it. But the methods and means by which they would go about to attain their desires reminded me a lot of magic. And matter of fact, as I was practicing and I was studying, I've told my dad 100 times, I'm like, you are so fucking magical. What the hell? What, oh boy, it's a gift God gave our family. It runs in the blood. And that's all he would say about it. But he always said it was God. Well, I didn't fight the old man over who he claimed the power was, just, whatever. But the thing is that the old man, as country as he was and as just illiterate and all this, he was a very spiritual person, very powerful too, let me tell you. He was very capable. I don't know if that was because he was an Aries and hard-headed or what have you, but he was who he was. You hear people saying that, talking about their totem animals and all this other stuff. My father's was a wolf. Now, if you didn't know my daddy was kind of a scary dude. You know, unless you were one of his kids, you were fair game. And he was just like that. And it was not easy for him to trust anybody. You were not welcome into his world unless he invited you. Unless for whatever reason he felt sympathy or pity for you, he just, Oh, well, with that in mind, though, my dad left me with a few gems, one of which I want to share with you. Now, I'm hoping you can laugh about this, and I'm hoping also that you can read between the lines and understand it. Maybe even think about how it might apply to your own life, okay? Because this is a living tradition. Oh, I hate to say that, but it is. It's a living tradition because oh my goodness, my grandpa all back. Oh my goodness, they were all like this, okay? So, here's a good word according to my father. All right, so he says that there were three kinds of people in this world, and this is the way he tells me, boy, there are three types of people in this world. There's ones that fuck, fight, and hold the light. Which one are you? Hey, he's sitting there like, the hell are you talking about? Fuck, fight, and hold, what? You know, and to a 17, 18-year-old kid, that don't make no damn sense. You know, I was damn near 21 before I lost my virginity, so fucking might have been out of the question at that time. And fighting, well, yeah, I was a natural scrapper. And the more the merrier. The hell, the more there was to fight. Shit, I liked odds against me. I loved it. Of course, I was mean little shit coming up. Well, I wasn't mean. I liked fighting. I liked standing up for the little guy, the one everybody else picked. Oh, I love bullies. Oh, I love bullies because I'd beat their asses. And the more bullies there were, the better I liked it. And so, I'd hear this shit day in and day out, and I'd just be like, Daddy, one time I was like, Daddy, you gotta explain this to me. Because, I'm thinking, he's talking about, there's people who love to fuck, or people who like to fight. And the holding the light thing, I guess he was talking about, people that are just, like straw bosses is what he used to call them, the people that stand and watch everybody else do the work, So I figured that's what he was talking about, holding the light. He's like, you got some people, son. He says, all they do is fuck off. He said, that's all they do. They do nothing with their life, nothing whatsoever. They don't try to make their life any better, anyone else's better. He says, they're just fucking off. So that's what he meant by fucking. The fighting. He said, there are some people in this world, he says, all they want to do is find a reason to argue, a reason to fight, a reason to just keep division and contention. And then he said that there are those who like to hold the light. He said, and that's what he liked to think of himself as. Because he would tell the truth. So forth and so on. And he would try to help people. And now I have seen him help people who are having marital problems. He'd sit there and talk to them so that their relationship smoothed out. And that's the kind of way my dad was. That was his being nice. Because he was a rough customer, let me tell you. But the niceness in him came with people that actually needed advice, that needed help. My dad would be there. He'd talk to them. And he loved doing it. He'd give all the credit to God, and that God put him in the right place at the right time. And, it's really sad that things like this will die. This kind of knowledge, this kind of thought, this kind of thinking, it'll die. It'll die with me. It'll die with my brothers, my sisters, my family. If they don't, if we don't teach it to the next generation, it'll die. Why am I getting on here doing that? Hell, I have no idea. Like I said, normally I sit here and ramble on to my wife. She's not here, so y'all get to be my sounding board today. And, I think even more along the lines of in ancestry and stuff like that, I think bloodline. Both of my great-grandmothers were Indian. And when I say Indian, I'm talking full-blooded Indian. I mean, I wish I had a picture to show you. Wow. Indian. One was Cherokee, and the other one, I'm not really for certain. And then let's get to the great-grandfathers. Oh, one was 100% Irish. One was 100% German. Now, this is on my dad and my mom's side, okay? So, my dad's side, we got the German and the Cherokee. And on my mother's side, we got the Irish and what other type of Indian that was. Uh, and down the line it came. Now, me, thankfully, the Indian blood, I'd be more like the crazy medicine man, more so than the actual full-blooded warrior type Indian, whatever you want to call it. I'm as white as snow, son. Seriously. Like, I took after the Irish side bigger than hell. You know, I burn in the sun. But, anyway, you know, and these are my ancestors, you know. But now, even back then, there were things like my full-blooded Irish grandfather. He used to have a couple of mules, and the way the story goes is that my grandfather would come out there, open up the pen, go about his business, go out there, be fooling with something, come back and hook the mules up. He didn't have to lead the mules out there. All he had to do was open the gate, and the mules would go straight over there and get ready to be hitched. Yeah, you think in this day and age, that's some weird shit, you know. How do you train mules to do this, you know? No, because they can be trained in all this other stuff. Well, the thing is that my grandfather, the way the story went, is that he talked to animals. You know, and there's a lot of it. There's a lot of that in my family bloodline. There just is. We're talking to animals. And, you know, and I know modern day thinking is that, you know, it's like training a dog not to pee on the carpet. Okay. You ever work with mules? Let me tell you something. That is not as easy as you think. Now, the really, really weird thing, though, about my Irish grandfather is that the man was roughly, he was 6'10", 6'11", 410 pounds. I didn't believe how tall this man was. I'd seen him standing up against a tree. That didn't make any sense until they showed him with his mules, and they came to his freaking waist. This man was a giant of giants. I really wished he'd gave my 5'5" ass some of his height. I'd have loved that. He could have kept the blood all day long. Just give me the tall genes. I'll settle for that. But anyway, I got screwed. That's okay, though. I accept it. But, you know, that's my family. And then, you know, and then the tales of the great-great-grandparents, they came over on boats. So, you know, only my, let's see here, grandparents, great-grandparents, before them, their mothers and fathers came over on the boats. So my great-great-grandparents came over on the boats, came over to the cities and everything else, moved down south. And that's where my family comes from. That's how, you know, whatever. But I will say this, they are all crazy as Scooter Brown. I'm not lying, and some of you may catch that reference. Some of you may not. It just depends on how old you are and whether or not, you know, that's a slang term you've heard. But they crazier than owl shit. And they had a lot of issues, a lot of whatever. But I like the way my dad always told me, oh, hell, boy, everybody's got problems. Yes, they did. But I also liked his approach to dealing with any problems he had. He always laid them down at the feet of God, he said. You know, he gave them to God. Well, me being the magical me that I was like, well, how can this work for me? Because I don't really believe in the God thing. So, you know, how can I work this? And then it dawned on me. You gotta let it go. You gotta believe that there is some higher power, some forces, in my case, many gods, because I love the gods. I don't believe there's one God. There are many gods, in my opinion, my personal thoughts. With that being said, I started believing in them, trusting in them. And sure enough, wouldn't you know it? There you go. Here I am, 39 years later. Still kicking. Well, I hope this wasn't too boring, too whatever. But I would love to hear some of y'all's stories, you know. And peace and blessings, guys. Love y'all.